Good morning, everyone. My name is Adrian. I'll be leading you through a bit of a stretch today. For today, you'll need a roller, and then ideally a peanut or a hockey ball, lacrosse ball, whatever you have lying around at home. Let's use a roller for a warm-up. We're going to start off with our quads, nice big muscle group. If you're doing a lot of cycling or a lot of hiking, this might be a little tight. So we're just going to start above the knees and then roll for about 2 minutes. Take our time, just slowly roll back and forth. We're gonna wake up our body through rolling and do some active stretching. Right after. So here we have a couple options. We can turn our feet out or turn our feet in 45 degrees. That'll change the angle of where you feel it in the quads, or you can just keep your feet nice and neutral. That's fine too. You can also adjust halfway. If you find a particularly tender spot, you can just hang out there or keep on moving through it. Again, the rolling is all self-guided. You want to go with feeling. So you got about 1 minute and 15 seconds left. Really take your time, slowly sink in. Think slow, deep breaths. And of course, if at any time, whoever's live, if they have any requests, they can always put it in the chat or just say it out loud. But we'll for sure get to our glutes. We'll for sure get to some specific hamstring stretches. All right. About 30 seconds left for the quads, just really sinking into any kind of tension right along our thigh muscles. We're using the roller to get some blood flow and to warm everything up. About 15 seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to do the inner thigh. So we're really going to use the roller to form everything up. We're going to put the roller parallel to the edge of our mat. We're going to have our, whichever thigh we choose, we're going to bring that up nice and high. So think 90 degrees. I want your ankle in front of the roller. Don't tuck it behind. I want it in front. We're going to square our hips up to the floor, roll to our groin, and roll back to the side of the knee. So not directly on top of the knee, but just to the thigh muscle where it ends just before your knee begins. So you'll be here for about 45 seconds, just really taking your time. And if you're worse near the inner part of the groin versus the inner part of the knee, everyone's tight in different areas. Just try to work on whatever you got going on. Getting slow, deep breaths. For me, I'm tighter towards the groin, but everyone's different. You can work into whatever spot feels the best and or worst for you. About 20 seconds left on this side. Just really slowly sinking it in, working into any kind of tension. And 3, 2, 1, other side. So you don't have to move around a lot if you don't want to. You just as very easily stick to one spot and just hold it there the whole time. Totally fine. All right. Here, knee up nice and high, hip square to the floor. We're just gonna work back and forth along any kind of tension. So for me, I'm gonna hang out probably in one spot the whole time on this side, just because this side's a little tighter, but you do whatever works for you. Give me about 35 seconds. 10 seconds left. 10, 9. In 3, 2, 1. All right, from here we'll do our glutes. Going to use the roller to just get blood flow to everywhere. Get our whole body nice and soft before we get into the hard stretching. So here, having a seat, you can do this actually either on a ball or on the roller. I'm going to do it on the roller, but you can just as easily do this on the ball. So here, putting one cheek or one glute on the ball. Whichever leg is down, whichever glute is down, that same leg is gonna bring itself up and onto the other side. So my left cheek is on the roller, my left leg is up, my left ankle is on my right knee. If you're not flexible enough to do this, halfway is fine, or even just crossing your ankles, as long as this knee is rotated open and you can work back and forth. So whatever variation works for you. I'm going to be here for about 45 more seconds, or about a minute each side. Just really digging into any kind of tension, whatever you got going on. And for me, I like to hold it in one spot for the glute, just really dig into one particular sore spot. But everyone's different. Find whatever works for you. About 10 more seconds. 10, 9. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Other side. About 50 seconds here. Just working into any kind of tension. And for me, you can also adjust your knee down. You can lift that knee up. You can kind of move around to feel the right spot, I would say. Think slow, deep breaths. About 20 seconds left. 3, no, sorry, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Next is going to be calves. We're sure to get everything mobilized. Unfortunately, you can't really roll your hamstrings, or well, you can, but you need the equivalent of like a softball. Since I don't think you guys have that at home, we're not going to roll hamstrings. We're just going to roll our calves, and then we'll stretch our hamstrings 3 different ways after. So for the calves, we have a couple options. We can do both legs at the same time and lift our hips up off the ground like so, and just roll back and forth. You can do that. You can also do one at a time if you're brave. Here, crossing your legs, lifting up, and the same thing. Or like me, if you have really tight calves, it's enough for me just to rest one leg on top of the other, and just the simple weight of my top leg on my bottom leg is enough for me to feel a deep release. So I'm going to stick to this one. I'm going to do each side for about 50 seconds. If you want to do both the whole time, you can absolutely do both the whole time. But for me, my calves are particularly tight, so this is enough for me. I'm going to hang it here. But you can do whatever difficulty or intensity work for you. It's about 40 more seconds here. And honestly, even just the weight of my own leg, resting on a particular spot in my calf is enough for me. Should probably stretch my calves more often because they are tight. All right, about 25 seconds left. And so for me, I'm just kind of working maybe inch by inch, just the outer third of my calf, because that's where I tend to hold the most tension. 10 seconds here, but everyone's different. It could be worse for you right in the center. It could be worse for you by your Achilles. Everyone's different. And 3, 2, 1, switching sides. So for me, same thing. I happen to be tight in the same spot on both calves. So it's actually quite easy for me just to switch sides. All right, 50 seconds here. And here, avoid curling your toes or flexing or squeezing or kind of like curling your toes really hard. Just so you can keep a relaxed foot as best you can. So you got to move up a little bit. And again, everyone's tight in different areas. Find what works for you. About 10 seconds, 10. 3, 2, 1. Easing off. All right, let's get started in a series of a couple of lower body stretches. Here we're just going to go for an easy groin stretch. Seated, feet together, also known as a butterfly stretch. And we're going to do a bunch of hip and glute openers. So here, feet together, shoulders low, pulling in as best we can. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. From here, we're going to go for our first hamstring stretch. Just a simple one. One leg in, one leg out, reaching for our toe. Kind of the basic one that everyone does. And then we're going to, after this, we're going to go for a different hamstring stretch while we're kneeling. And then the third one's going to be against the wall. So we're definitely going to get our hamstrings in. And same with glutes. We're going to try a few different glute stretches. Seconds, 10, 9, 3, 2, 1. Great, other side. About 15 seconds. And one side might be much more flexible than the other. My left side is quite a bit worse than my right. Everyone's different, but work with what you got. 2, 1. Okay, from here, we're going to lie face up. We're going to go for our first glute/glute med stretch. This one, we're going to bring one leg up, grab it with the other arm, pull it across the body. And our goal here is to feel it along our glute med and a little bit in our low back. Now the key part here is keeping your head and 2 shoulders as flat as you can against the ground. Something else you can try to deepen the stretch is every time you exhale, see if you can just tug just a little bit, maybe add an extra 3% of tension. Just try to like, just pull a little more. Nothing too crazy. You don't want to yank your leg over. Just think slow, easy tension. We'll be here for about 25, 30 more seconds. Good. 10 more to go. 10, 9. Perfect. We're going to switch sides. Here about 40 seconds, just really soaking it in. And again, every time you exhale, see if you can use your top arm to just pull your leg in a little closer or a little more towards the floor. Three, two, one. All right. Now that our glute meads are quite good, we're going to come up. We're going to go for our little 3-part series of a hip flexor, a hamstring, and a glute stretch. So here, we're going to go into a kneeling lunging position first. And our goal is to feel it in the front of the top of the thigh of the back leg. It's good, just a headband, perfect. So here, lunge position. Make sure I'll show the other side first. So lunge position. Take this knee, rotate it towards the outside. And here you're gonna tuck in our pelvis, squeeze our glute, and we're gonna reach forward. Here we wanna feel it on the top of the thigh, maybe a little bit in the hip flexor of the back leg. Key part here is don't put any weight on your knee and avoid any kind of hyperextension. You wanna keep your core tight as you push everything forward. You should feel it again in the hip flexor, top of the thigh of your back leg. About 30 seconds here before we switch into our second hamstring stretch. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here, we're going to stick this leg out. We're going to point our toes towards the ceiling or towards us. We're going to dig our heel in and lean forward to feel a nice stretch back of the thigh. Now, you can rest your hands here if you want, but avoid putting pressure. You don't want to actually press this knee down as you're trying to stretch it. It's going to hyperextend it and can potentially cause issues. You can rest your hands wherever you like. Just don't press into this leg. That's all. I keep my hands on the floor, but you do whatever you have to do. Just don't press and don't hyperextend this leg. It's generally not good for you. All right, 30 more seconds. Ten more to go. 10. 3, 2, 1. All right, from here we're going to go for that glute stretch. So same leg we've been using the whole time. We're now going to put it parallel to the edge of the mat. So leg parallel here. And we're going to try to sink into what's called a half pigeon or king pigeon pose, I think. Just sinking down, going for that glute stretch. We're gonna be here for about 35 seconds-ish. It's really taking our time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Easing off. Now we're going to do the same 3 stretches, but on the other leg. So we're going to go into a lunge position. We're going to stretch our hip flexor, then our glutes. Sorry, hip flexor, then hamstring, then our glutes. Lunge position. Take this front knee, rotate it towards the outside. So rotate it open. And from here, squeezing the core, squeezing the glute, push everything forward. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here, one leg out, leaning forward. Go for a nice hamstring stretch. Now, once again, don't press into this leg. You don't want to hyperextend it. Keep your hands either on your hips, on loose, or on the ground, whatever you're able to do. About 35, 40 seconds here. We're going to spend a little extra time really digging into this hamstring. Excellent. About 15 seconds. Think slow, deep breaths. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. So we're actually going to move to the wall for our next hamstring and groin stretches. If you, what you'll need to find is some kind of corner or some kind of, just an area where you can kind of use a piece of wall. I'm going to move us. Whoa. Don't mind me in the roof. Just going to bring yourselves in front. Oh, all right. That should be good. Just going to move that over. So we're going to start off with both our hamstring and then our glute. All right. That actually needs to be adjusted a little bit. Maybe backed up. There we go. That's better, I think. So finding a corner or wall, whatever you're able to use. And from here, our goal is to line up our hamstring and our heel with the wall, while our other leg is going to start lengthening through our hip. So here, bring your tailbone or your bum as close as you can against the wall. Like so. As close as you're able to. If you're able to put your hamstring flat against the wall, great. I can't, I'm not that flexible, so do what you can. Here, the key part is keeping both feet neutral. You want to avoid rotating anything towards the outside. Keep as neutral as you can, toes pointing towards you or just up. Here, if you should be closer, great. Your goal is to slowly lower this leg. As you lower this leg, you're going to feel it in whichever leg is supported by the wall. You're going to feel it ideally in this hamstring. You want to take it nice and slow. Want to really ease into this one. And the key part here is as you're lowering, your low back also is trying to stay flat. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to hyperextend, or we don't want to kind of curl our tailbone up. We want to keep everything as flat as possible. So keep your low back flat. Keep both toes pointed if you can, and slowly lower. Don't try not to rotate this foot out. Try to keep it neutral. We could be here for about 30 more seconds, just really taking our time. Going for a nice stretch in the hamstring. If you feel it in a particular area, feel free to hang out there, or if you want to hang out right at the bottom and just feel a nice elongation here, that's fine too. Again, everyone's different. About 10 more seconds, 10, 9, 3, 2, 1. Here we're going to switch sides. I think I have to open this door if I want to continue on this side. Oops. There we go. Perfect, there's space here. All right, so other side. So we're reaching up. If you need to adjust your door frame, that's fine. We just work with whatever you got. Just lifting up, slowly lowering down as best you can. You have about 25 more seconds here. And slow, controlled movements. Again, try to keep both toes pointed. Try to avoid pointing your toes forward. Try to point them back towards your face. Three, 2, 1. Excellent. From here, we're going to go for a glute. We're going to go for a glute stretch. So similar to the one on the floor, we're going to place one foot flat. And depending on how close you are to the wall, that'll say how deep your stretch is. So from here, we're going to lift our leg. We're going to lift our hips up. We're going to cross our legs if we can. So here, similar to that figure 4 position, then we're going to try to lower our low back towards the floor. And as we put that weight down, we're going to feel a deep stretch right in here. So again, our ankles on our knee. And of course, the closer we are, the more leverage that gives our lower half, which means a deeper stretch. You're going to feel a nice stretch right here. So my low back is slightly suspended, so just so I can allow the weight of my body to deepen the stretch. Of course, if you want to make it harder, go closer towards the wall. If you want to make it easier, just back off. This is just about right for me. Good. About 15 seconds left. Three, 2, 1. Easing off, other side. So here, crossing our legs, just trying to sink down. And again, my low back is suspended because I'm allowing my body weight to kind of continue to fall, in a sense, to just keep the stretch nice and deep. But of course, everyone's different. And what works for me may not work for you. Good, about 20 seconds left on this side. Just really sinking into that glute as much as we can. And 3, 2, 1. Easing off. Perfect. From here, I'm just going to use the wall for a groin stretch. So here, 1, 2. Move way over here. There we go. And if you don't have a wall, you have there's two options you can do. I'm going to do this here. Great. If you don't have a wall to use like that, and you only have a corner, you can just go for a nice, like, basic groin stretch like that. But if you have a wall and your socks aren't going to mark up the up the drywall, you can definitely use the wall. So here, try to shimmy your bum as close as you can to the wall. Try to get your back nice and flat. Then from here, and put your feet out as wide as you can. Point both toes towards you. And just go for a nice, easy groin stretch. Yeah, perfect. And again, so avoid those toes turning inwards. Try to keep them neutral. If you can, avoid pointing the toes away from you. Try to point them towards you. If you're not quite feeling the stretch, you might be hunching your back. Try so you can squeeze back your shoulders. Keep your shoulders flat and keep your low back flat against the ground too. You're trying to tuck your pelvis down towards the floor. Imagine flattening your back and tucking in your stomach, trying to press your low back into the floor. And of course, as you deepen the stretch, you need to readjust your heels a little more. We're gonna be here for about 35 more seconds. It's really taking our time, slowly sinking into that deep groin stretch. If this is too much or you don't have a wall space for this, you can just do the one where you're on the floor reaching forward. That's fine too, whatever you're able to manage. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, from here, do a couple more stretches we can do from here though. So we're gonna go for a side flexor or a QL stretch. So we're gonna cross your legs. If you can't cross your legs, just sit whatever way you're able to, feet apart, feet together. If you can't do this, if you can't sit cross-legged, just keep your feet like this and reach over. If you're able to sit cross-legged, whichever leg is closest is the one you're gonna try to anchor down towards the floor. You're gonna try to lean up and away, stretching across the side of the ribs and in the QL. If you're able to do a half lotus, that's fine too. And the same thing, whichever leg is down, you're gonna use your top leg to press in and reach up and away, stretching along the QL. You're gonna feel it from in between your ribs down to the top of your hip. You'll be here for about 30 seconds, really taking our time, just opening up. And hello, whoever's. Great. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, easing up. Good, other side. So once again, the modified version is just feet down, whatever is comfortable. If you can, sit cross-legged, which is the target leg being closest to you, or you can do a half lotus, where you wrap one foot on top, drop both shoulders, reach up and away, and you're using your top leg to anchor down your bottom leg. And reach up and over, feeling a nice stretch from the top of your rib down to your hip. Think slow, deep breaths. About 20 seconds here. Try to breathe in slowly and breathe out slowly. And 3, 2, 1. Excellent. From here, I'm just going to actually sneak in a little bit of upper body. I know a few people here enjoy the neck and upper trap rolling. So if you can, grab a ball or peanut, and then we're gonna do a little bit of neck rolling. This is also where if you have a yoga block, let's use it. If you don't, that's okay. But if you have a yoga block, I'd like you to grab one now as well. Okay, we're gonna do the upper traps in the middle of the neck. So here, taking a ball, hockey ball, golf ball, lacrosse ball, whatever works for you. Once you take the ball, you're gonna place it underneath your upper trap. Make sure it's behind this muscle that you can actually grab. Find your collarbone, behind your collarbone, grab that chunk of muscle. That's where you want the ball to be underneath. From there, you're gonna keep both shoulders low. You're gonna very gently just sway this arm up and down. You even draw shapes this one. You can draw circles and kind of make figure eights. Whatever hand motions you want, you can just spell your name, whatever works. Just think slow, easy movements in whatever direction you want, but trying to focus on releasing the upper trap. And if you find a particularly tight spot, say it's over here, say it's up there, that's fine too. Just really sink into it. Try to work into any kind of tightness, wherever you feel it. Great, about 20 seconds here, taking our time. Taking slow, deep breaths the whole time. Almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great, easing off. Now the other side. The same thing, we're gonna place it underneath our upper trap. Make sure to keep both shoulders low. Then gentle swing motions. You can draw circles, figure eights, going up and down or side to side, whatever works. You have about 35 more seconds here. Slowly taking your time. And after this, we'll use a peanut and go for a slightly longer neck release. Especially been enjoying our outdoor watercraft, which I know a few people here have. All that pedaling and rowing, it's good to release the upper traps and and all those stabilizers in the upper back. Great. Take slow, deep breaths the whole time. We're almost there, about 15 seconds left. If you want to hold it in a particular spot, that's fine too. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. From here, we're going to grab a yoga block and a peanut roller. If you don't have one, that's okay. You can use the ball. I'll show you a variation with just the ball. But if we can, we're going to take a yoga block. We're going to take a peanut. We're going to stack one on top of the other like so. And what we're going to do is we're going to place our neck right in the center here. So we're going to lie face up, take the peanut, place it right in the center. And here we're going to gently roll up and down, just working to any kind of tension, especially if you didn't like clench your jaw, or if you have any kind of like a lot of just tension behind the ears or behind the neck. It's good to just slowly work through that. Now, if you don't have a yoga block, that's okay. You can do this from the floor. The only thing you need to do is to use your fingertips to hold it in place, but you don't need a yoga block. So here, same thing, placing it behind, using your fingertips just to hold it in place. You can gently roll up and down, kind of nod your head a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, whatever works for you. And if you don't have a peanut, you just have a ball, that's okay too. Again, our goal is to give options. You can just, so you rest your head nice and neutral, kind of center with the sky. Take the ball, place it to the side, and you can gently kind of just like tilt your head a little bit side to side. You can nod up and down and just kind of work through there. So you want to be gentle with this. At no point should you be trying to like jam it as hard as you can. You really just want to honestly just place it there and then move your head to add tension. Don't try to actually press into your neck. I'm not a chiropractor. Don't press into your neck. Just really focus on gentle movements. Focusing on the muscle. Don't try to jam anything anywhere. Just really work through whatever tension you got. So ball, peanut, whatever works. I'm going to go back to the peanut on the yoga block, but you do whatever variation works for you. So if you've been doing the ball the whole time, you can switch sides. If you've been doing this the whole time, you can keep doing this. This thing slow movements, nice and controlled. If you want to lean a little bit to the left or lean a little bit to the right, that's fine too. About 45 seconds here. Think slow movements. You very much don't want to kind of just nod your head like you're at a rock concert. You really want to just slowly nod up and down. We're almost there. Good. About 20 seconds. See, tennis is in full swing. Good. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and easing off. All right. So that was your class this morning. Thank you all who attended live. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to pause the recording here. And thank you all who watch this later on YouTube.